Hey guys, so yeah, I'm here again making a video for you guys. I'm actually in my last month before I move out of the dorm, so I wanted to make one last video in this room for you guys. As much as I know you guys really like to hear the positive news about Korea, about living in Korea, how fun it is and how wonderful it is, I wanted to share with you guys some of my negative experiences while living here in Korea, being a university student here. I'm gonna touch on 3 different things that happened to me in this last semester. It's something that kind of altered how much fun I had in my first semester as a university student here. So let's go ahead and get started. Full disclosure guys, this is everything that's happened from my personal experience. This might not be something that's happened to other international students, let alone any other students in general. So this is just coming from my experience. This is what happened to me. I'm not saying that Korean universities are awful because I make videos for you guys about university, trying to help you guys come to Korean universities. So just because I say these things, these are just the negative things that happened to me. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen everywhere, doesn't mean it's gonna happen to everybody. This is just what happened to me. First things first, I had some issues with a scholarship this semester. When I came to this university, I was actually very much struggling with where I was going to get enough money to be able to go to school, and thankfully I found a way to be able to stay in school and have enough money to pay for tuition, to pay for the dorms and everything. But it wasn't easy, and before the semester even started, I was having a lot of stress trying to figure out how I was going to do it all. Halfway through this semester, I get called down to the office. The lady in the office tells me, "Oh, Becky, I have some good news for you. Actually, this semester, you got a scholarship, but we accidentally gave it to somebody else. So I'm sorry, we had to wait for him to give the money back and then we could give it to you." What the fuck? Like, oh my god, I acted very happy because at the moment I was happy. I'm like, oh wow, I got a scholarship. But later as I thought about it, I'm like, seriously, what the hell guys? Like, I almost went home because I didn't have enough money to go to school, and now you're telling me that I was given a scholarship for the tuition. All of these problems, all this stress could have been avoided if you had just given me the scholarship that I actually deserve. I mean, this isn't something that, like, I don't know anybody else that this has happened to, so this was just something that was my personal experience, and I was very disappointed in my university for the fact that I was given the scholarship and I didn't even receive it until halfway through the semester. I'm happy I finally got the money, but I was really disappointed in how the university handled it and how long it took. The fact that they had to wait for the person to give the money back before they could give me the money that I deserved. The whole process was done without even my acknowledgement until the very end when they finally gave me the money. I'm just really upset that something like this would happen. I went to a community college back home, so I would expect something like this to happen at a community college, but I definitely would not expect this to be something that would happen at a national university. I'm at a university now. I'm very shocked that this even happened, so that's definitely something that it happened to me. I don't know how I could advise you to avoid it because there's really no way to avoid a situation like this. It's just something that personally happened to me while I was here at this university. The second thing I wanted to talk about briefly is the dormitory. So I'm not going to say that the dorms are bad because I have lived in the dorms before and my experience was so much better the last time I lived in these dorms. But this semester I live in a 6-person room. As you can see, I'll put a link up here to show you guys the video of my 6-person room. It's nice. At first it was very nice, but after a while the girls all stopped cleaning, and I don't want to actually bring you there, but there is like mold growing on one of the toilets and I refuse to use that toilet because it's so gross. People would be like, "Oh well Becky, why don't you just clean it?" Because I'm the only person cleaning it, and honestly I'm not even in this room very often. Sometimes I even go and spend the night at my friends' houses. This is literally just a place for me to put my stuff. During the summer I'm really not here very often. We had a room inspection and everything was fine and dandy, and then I left for a couple, like about a little over 2 weeks to spend time with my little brother when he was here. When I came back, all the bathrooms were absolutely disgusting. The trash is overflowing and there's some womanly issues that we have to deal with, and if I see your womanly issues at the top of my trash can, I'm not going to be happy, and that's exactly what I see like on a daily basis here. The bathrooms are just gross. There's mold growing. Even on their shower curtain there's mold growing on the shower curtain. Honestly, to be completely 100% honest, our room is only cleaned once a month when we have room inspection. It looks spotless for that first week that it's clean, and then suddenly it just gets a disaster. And like, I don't know what these girls do, but it'll be completely absolutely spotless, and then one girl will go in to go and do something, and she comes out and there's just like dirt and like grime, and like I don't know how mold happens in 20 minutes, but it happened in 20 minutes that she was in that room, and it's like, it's disgusting. And like, even, I don't want to show you, but even like now I have blonde hair. I know what hair is mine. There is black hair all over this floor, all over it, and it's just not okay. It's gross, and it's not my hair. Nobody in these rooms cleans. It's just I live in filth here. Like, my side of the room is very clean because I do my laundry very often. I clean my room, my side of my room all the time. I'm always keeping everything clean. Even when I go to the bathroom, I like wipe down the toilet seat just in case, because I want to make sure at least when I go to the bathroom it's clean. People have warned me about the 6 people rooms, and I thought that maybe the warning would be just because it was loud or something. I will warn you guys, if you have the money to live in a 2-person room, live in the 2-person room. It's a little bit more costly, but it's worth it because at least there's only 2 of you. When there's 6 women in one room and they all refuse to clean, then it just makes it a lot more difficult for everyone else living there. If you have control of where you live, 2-person room is definitely better than the 6-person rooms. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is I had issues with the teacher last semester, and I don't want to go into too much detail, and I don't want to be that type of person who will sit there and say everyone's names. There was one teacher, she was, I don't even know if I want to say this because I know there's not many of these type of teachers, but I'll just say that my Korean teachers, I didn't really have any problems with my Korean teachers. It was this one teacher, she was an okay teacher. The problem was she canceled class all the time, which, you know, the first time you get class canceled, you're like, woo, no going to class, this is great. But when it happens so often, and she canceled the whole first week of classes, I needed her classes. I couldn't like just go and pick another class. I needed her classes. So I took 2 of her classes last semester. This teacher always canceled, and then when she had makeup classes, she sometimes we'll put it on e-class. What e-class is, it's the online like portal. So you have your homework and your PowerPoints and everything that your teacher, the way you communicate with your teacher, the way you get your homework, the way you get your information about the class is all on e-class. It's just an internet portal site. So sometimes the teacher would post on the makeup class on the portal. Sometimes she would only say it. There was days that she changed our whole presentation schedule and gave us Saturday classes, which I couldn't go on Saturday because I'm busy on Saturdays. Like, I have other things to do. I can't just like give up my day to go and take this class when the class isn't even on a Saturday. And when we missed class, she would give us 2 absences for missing a makeup class. So that was a big problem I had with her. Another problem was that I worked really, really hard. Like, out of all my classes, I studied for her class the most because I wanted to get a really good grade. I got an A on the midterm. I got an A on the final. I should have gotten an A on the presentation because I worked really hard, and I know my other teammates, they got good grades on the presentation. Yet, when I got my grades back, I saw that she gave me B's in both classes. And I was very shocked because I participated very, very well in that class. And I studied really hard. I know I did good on the test. I worked really hard on the presentation. I didn't even read from my script. I talked to the class while I was giving the presentation. To me, it wasn't just me sitting there being like, oh, I got a bad grade, I want to change my grade. No, I know that I worked really hard for that class, and I should have at least gotten an A. I worked as hard as someone who should have gotten an A. And I found out that I had gotten the same grade as somebody who didn't work hard at all in that class, who really didn't try. Yeah, I got the same grade as him. So I was a little disappointed. What made it worse is that our teacher, she posted the grades the last day that you can post grade. It was the last day that you can do any changes. After that day, they're permanent. And so when I saw the grade, I was really disappointed, and so I sent her an email. She didn't respond. So with my friend, we called her, didn't answer. It wasn't until we went to an office in our building, they called, and she answered, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting all day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm like, well, our issue won't be able to be fixed by tomorrow. But she didn't care. I feel like I'm very biased about this whole situation, and maybe it's my anger coming out, but I feel like she purposely did it so that we couldn't change our grades. This whole issue was so awful, and we even brought this up to the dean of the university. We had an email, we sent an email to a service that the university has where they have to respond in 24 hours. The dean of the university got a hold of it, then the dean of my department also got a hold of it and was brought to the attention, and when we were able to see our actual grades compared to other people, and I was very shocked to see what type of grade I had, because I know that's not the grade I deserve. But the really, really, really stupid thing about universities in Korea is that the teacher's grade is final. What the teacher thinks you deserve is what you get. There's no real way to argue with it. But I know back home, if this issue were to have happened, that they'd be willing to look into it, to compare tests and see if I actually deserved the grade that I deserved. But unfortunately, that's not what happened here. And so I was very disappointed at the fact that we couldn't change our grades. But when I realized that we couldn't change our grades, then I just wanted, she canceled class so often, and I wanted her to feel the consequences of not being a good teacher. Like, after I realized that, you know, I can't get my grades changed, that's fine, but I want the dean of the business administration department to know how the teacher has been teaching the classes, and I'm not alone. She's also had complaints in the past from students too, and I even have friends who've told me that she cancels class so often. It's really hard to attend her class because you never know when her class is going to be. This whole issue was such a struggle, and what was really disappointing is that there's nothing I could do about my grade, which I guess is fine, but you know, if she had given me an A's, I could have possibly gotten a scholarship, but now I know for sure that I'm not going to get the academic scholarship for next semester. And it's because I know I had a small disagreement with her towards the end of the semester, and it wasn't a big disagreement, but the fact that I talked back, I feel like she gave me a bad grade. But I'm not sure, it could just be my opinion. I don't know, I could be acting just like a snooty student who just wants an A. This is just what happened to me, and at least we brought this up to the university, and the university knows. I'm not sure exactly what happened with her. I'm glad that the university knows that, you know, she isn't teaching to the standard that Cheonnam National University has set for their professors. So I at least want her to be acknowledge that, you know what, you can't just cancel class all the time. I know from personal experience, the makeup classes, finding out what days to do what, it was very stressful, and so I wanted to bring this up to the attention of the school so that next semester she won't do this to future students, because I don't want students taking her class to have to go through the stress that I had to go through this last semester. These are all the negative things that I can think of. Honestly, it was really hard for me to come up with so many negative things because I've had such a positive experience at this university. I just wanted to open up and be honest with you guys that, you know, this is still a university. There's problems in US universities, there's problems in Korean universities. Every university in the world has its own set of problems, and you're not going to have a picture perfect rainbows and unicorns university life. Like, there's always going to be problems. So I wanted to share that, you know what, even in Korean universities you can also have problems too. Just watch out for these things and be kind. I would probably recommend not talking back to your teacher even though you think you're right and you were doing it in a very, very polite way. I think I would just hold my tongue on that one, because granted this was only one teacher. The rest of my Korean teachers, they were all fabulous and I have nothing to complain. Actually, my favorite teacher from last semester was a Korean professor. It was only this one I had a problem with, and so I'm thinking that maybe the next semesters to come I really won't have as many problems as I did in the past. Anyways, I hope you like this video, guys, and if you have any questions or have any curiosities about going to Korean university, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll definitely check them out and collect them and make a video out of them. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, go ahead and like and subscribe. I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, so go check me out on those, and I'll talk to you guys again later. Bye!